Hello and welcome back to my channel, and also welcome to my channel if you are a new subscriber or you will see my face for the first time. My name is Adeline. I am a fashion designer based in Nigeria. Here on my channel I teach you how to sew. I share sewing tutorial videos and I try to make them as self-explanatory as possible, so even a beginner has a shot here on this channel. Right, I'm serious. Okay, now in today's episode I am teaching you how to make this circle dress. It's gonna pop up here. It's so simple, so easy, fancy, fluffy. Too many words to say about this dress. I loved it and I used about 4 meters. If this video you like it, just subscribe down there, okay? And if you find it helpful, turn on your notification bell. Anyways, yeah.
Okay, to draft the pattern, I use a miniature pattern to make sure you use your actual pattern. I marked out my chest line, bust point, waist, hip, and the hem. The first thing I'll do here is to mark my shoulder measurement on the chest line and also on the top, connect it, and then I would go ahead to mark my neckline and my neck width, my neck depth and my neck width. So use your actual measurements. I'm trying to just make this realistic as possible. Your 1-inch shoulder slope, connect your neckline. Now this is my back neck width. Now I'm going to mark the midpoint of my armhole and then go in by 1/2 inch for the back and 3/4 inch for the front. Mark the quarter of your bust on the chest line. And use your curved ruler to connect your front armhole and your back armhole. And I'm marking it like this because I am using the front pattern to cut out the back. I want to be able to get the same amount of flare. So now we're going to go ahead to plot the waist dart. Mark half of your nipple to nipple. Mark that on your chest line, on your bust point, all the way to your hem. Connect it and plot your dart. Now the reason why our dart is actually getting to the hem is because we are slashing and spreading this pattern. I think that's obvious already. Now I am marking quarter of my waist plus the 1-inch dart intake, and also mark quarter of my hip. Now whatever you mark on the hip, mark the same thing on the hem, okay? So now you go ahead and use your curved ruler to connect your lines. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Curve your lines so you don't have any sharp lines. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark half of my shoulder measurement and connect it straight to the bust point. And I'll also create another slash line, making it correspond with the shoulder, just like I'm doing here. So we'll cut this off for the slashing and would also cut out the dart, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do here is to cut out my pattern. So when we are done, this is what we have for our pattern. I'll just go ahead and teach you guys how I cut out my sleeve. Again, this is a miniature pattern. Now for the sleeve, you mark your cap's height, which is half of your armhole measurement. So if your armhole is 8, the cap's height is 4. Connect this to create a straight line, and then on the cap's height you're going to mark your armhole measurement. When you mark the armhole measurement, you connect it straight to the tip of your sleeve like so. Now you would mark this line here, you would mark the midpoint from the tip of your sleeve to where your armhole is. Mark the midpoint and go up by 1/2 inch. Now for the back armhole, you connect from your 1/2 inch you went up by to the tip of the sleeve and the tip of the armhole, like so. While to curve for the front, you would turn, just watch what I'm doing because I don't know. You turn your armhole to the other side and curve to that midpoint, not the 1/2 inch you raise, the midpoint. Then from there you curve upwards like so. So this is for the front armhole. It's just deeper than the back, right? So that's how to create it. And then for the hem, you would measure your armhole, measure what you have on your armhole here, and then you add about 4 to 5 inches depending on how wide you want the hem of your sleeve to be. And then you connect it like so. Go ahead to cut out your sleeve, but cut out the back part of your sleeve first, then you open it up and cut out the front. So this is how you create your sleeve. We would just have to start working. Right. So now this is my main gown pattern. The first thing we are going to do is to slash open the lines that we'd want to spread our pattern by. You just slash open very close to the tip, but don't cut out completely. And then you would also slash this point that contains the dart, and do not forget to cut off your dart. So when you cut off your dart, you will transfer this to a fresh pattern paper, and I would open up my hem by 6 inches. You can make it wider by 8 or by 10 depending on how full you want it to be. For me, 6 was okay. I used my maxing tape to place my pattern in place. So now I'll go ahead and connect my hem. Go ahead and cut out your pattern like this, but I want to add more room, so I will connect from the chest line straight to my hip, just like I'm doing here, to add more room to the gown. Or you can make it A-lined, extend your hem, and then connect from your chest line to the hem like this, like I indicated here. But for me, I'm okay with this, so I'll go ahead and cut out my pattern. And remember, we firstly cut out the back armhole. We would use this to cut out the back, and also use this pattern to cut out the front. So now I will fold my fabric on slight bias form. You can actually fold normal, but I want to fold it in a slight bias form. I'll place my pattern on it, and I'll firstly cut out my back. So don't forget to add whatever seam allowance you didn't add earlier. I'm going to be adding my zip allowance. I'm going to be adding my side seam allowance. I'm going to also add my armhole allowance. I already added length, like allowance for the hem. So go ahead and cut out your pattern, or rather cut out your pattern on fabric. Now here I am cutting out my center back. I also added a zipper allowance. I also did a back dart. You can do that if you want to. I cut out my sleeve. I curved the hem of my sleeve, which is totally optional. I just wanted to give my sleeve a different kind of look. Now because I curved it, it will be really difficult to double fold. So go ahead and notch all around the hem of your sleeve. But if you're using a bias to turn, this part is not necessary, okay? So I have cut out everything I need. I also use pockets. Now for the facing I'm going to use to turn out my neckline, I went ahead to fuse interfacing to it so I can give my neck more stability. So now we are going to sew everything together, the pockets, the sleeve, the back, everything, okay? So after double folding the hem of my sleeve, I'll go ahead and attach my feathers, and I would do a double stitch. Now this is me attaching it to the hem of my sleeve. Now the first stitch is done on the hem, on the tip of the feather is sewn to the tip of my sleeve hem, while the second stitch will be done at the upper part of the feather onto my stitch also. Now this is the final result of the gown. I really loved it. Let me know if you're going to try this, and if you like it, please give me a thumbs up and help me share. It would encourage me to do more, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you. Bye.